Hello learners, welcome to our course Rudimentary Principles and Practices of Managerial Economics. I am Dr. Shantanu Saurabh, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, DAV PG College, Banaras Hindu University. I welcome you to this interesting course. In this course, I will be throwing light on economics as well as managerial economics, and we'll be discussing different approaches and techniques and tools used in managerial economics. And I hope in the upcoming lectures you will be learning different concepts of managerial economics. In the first lecture, that is module 1, lecture number 1, which is based on the theme Managerial Economics and Economist, will be covering 5 topics as you are able to see on the screen. The first topic will be Introduction to Economics. Second topic will be Indian Perspective to Economics. Third topic will be Microeconomics and Macroeconomics. Fourth topic will be Concept and Definition of Managerial Economics. And fifth will be Characteristics of Managerial Economics. So one by one we will be taking all these topics, and in this course we will be making a genuine attempt so that a good knowledge transfer can take place from our end to your end, and this course can help you in a fruitful way. So let's start our course from the first topic. The first topic being Introduction to Economics. When a learner starts studying a subject, any subject, their natural interest is to learn about its nature, scope and its practical application or utility in day-to-day life. This is the concept of normal subject. But when you are an economics student, you are keenly interested in knowing all dimensions and complications of economics from micro to macro, which means from small figure to big figure, and its further divisions and its relation with other disciplines. Which means in normal subject the scenario is different, but when we talk of economics the scenario is different. We try to consider the small picture of any event, and we also try to understand the big picture of any event, and we try to understand the relation of economics with other disciplines or fields. From the ancient period, India has deep connection with economics. Before going deep into the topic, I want to tell you that whenever we try to understand or read economics, it is mostly being dominated by Western thoughts. But I want to put on the records that Indian thinkers have contributed in a major way in the field of economics. Modern economists have attempted to understand and describe economics in lucid and simple way, which means different school of thoughts of Western countries have contributed in the field of economics to make it a simple and make it a subject which everyone can understand. But they have not been able to come up to a consensus which is accepted by all school of thoughts, which means different school of thoughts have different opinion, but all of them have not come to a consensus that this is the final definition or this is the final concept. So there is a debate of economics which has been carrying on from decades to decades, and it's still relevant. The economic experts have defined economics variably through history, from Indian to Western culture, from Chanakya to Adam Smith, which means all the school of thoughts have different perception, different understanding of economics. So it has covered a long distance till date. And Indian knowledge system is completely printed with different concepts of economics and applications, which means our Indian knowledge system is full of the concepts of economics, but yes, it is less in the limelight these days. It is our requirement to understand economics as well as the dimensions of Indian economics. Moving ahead, economics is a social science that analyzes how products and services are produced, distributed and consumed, which means economics is a subject of social science which analyzes or makes a genuine attempt to understand how products and services are produced in the market, distributed to the customers and consumed. Economics studies how decisions are made by people, organizations, governments and countries to make optimum utilization of scarce or limited resources, which means, as you are already aware, the resources are always limited or scarce in nature, and the objective of economics is to make better or fuller utilization of resources, which helps the people, the organization, the government and countries to contribute in a better way. To summarize, we can say economics is a subject which deals with the utilization of resources which are scarce in nature to get maximum satisfaction from those limited resources. According to Dr. Alfred Marshall, one of the finest economists of the 19th century, economics is a study of man's action in the ordinary business of life. It inquires how to get his income and how he uses it. As a result, it is both the study of money on one hand, on one perspective, and the study of man on the other. The important thing is, on one hand it is study of money, and on the other hand it is a study of man on the other. So that was the perspective of Dr. Alfred Marshall, one of the most renowned economists till date. The second definition, according to Professor Robbins, economics is the science which studies human behavior. Economics is a science which analyzes or studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. It is the same concept, that relationship of human behavior is done here, and a relationship is established between end and the scarce resources of the humankind. So we have discussed two definitions, one in the words of Marshall and the other in the words of Robbins. Marshall talked about man's action on one hand, and on the other hand he talked about study of man. In the other definition, in sense of Robbins, he talked about human behavior and a relationship between end and scarce means which have alternative use. Now moving ahead, different stages of developing economics as a subject. As you are able to see on the screen, there are different school of thoughts who have evolved over a period of time. The first, as you are able to see, based on wealth-centered, and the famous economists who have contributed in this was Adam Smith, J.B. Say and J.S. Mill. When we talk of basis of welfare-centered, Marshall and Pigou have big contribution. When we talk of on the basis of scarcity, Robbins has a good contribution, important contribution you can say. And when we talk on the basis of growth-centered, Samuelson and Henry Smith have good contribution. So these are different school of thoughts which needs to be understood, and after this we'll be moving to the next slide. Indian perspective of economics. The Cottle economics focuses on the relationship between wealth and ethics. It also advocates that wealth should be accumulated through purely ethical sources and righteous ways only, which means you must have heard in your home Shubh Labh. When we talk of Indian economic system, we talk of wealth but with ethics. We should not be earning profit with unhealthy means or unfair means. In Indian system, in Indian knowledge system, we talk of Shubh Labh, which means earning profit with the good perspective and a perspective which is beneficial for the society. It firmly believes that business communication should be considered the most important aspect for economic stability and growth, which means communication in economics, according to Cottle economics, plays a very relevant or important role. It is one of the strong opinion that economics comes with values and ethics. So in Cottle economics, values and ethics was given the center point, the most important element. Therefore, the concept focuses on the concept of ethical economy, not just only profitable economy or profitable structure. This system of Indian system focuses on ethical economy by sticking to the roots or sticking to the culture of the society, which means you should be aiming at earning wealth, profit, but with values and ethics which can create a sustainable environment for the country. On the other hand, Mahavira's principle of economics is based on the welfare of mankind. The thought process did not completely rejected materialism but tried to bring out difference between spiritualism and materialism. So in this Mahavira's approach, he tried to bring out some difference between spiritualism and materialism. He did not completely reject the concept of materialism. To summarize, we can say the Indian school of thoughts related to economics was purely focused towards holistic development or inclusive development of the society, which means everyone should be growing in the positive direction and the society shall be growing. That was the Indian perspective of economics, which means development of wealth, of profit, but with culture, ethics, and in the right direction. Moving ahead, now we'll be talking about microeconomics and macroeconomics, the two main subfields of economics as social science are microeconomics, as you are able to see on the screen, and macroeconomics. The microeconomics, it studies the behavior of individual units of an economy. The individual thing is very important. Here we consider only the individual units in the microeconomics. On the other hand, in the concept of macroeconomics, it studies the behavior of aggregate of the economy as a whole. Here in macroeconomics, we are not only considering individual units, we are considering aggregates of the economy as a whole. So that is the basic difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics. In microeconomics, we consider individual units, for example, Ram's income, Shyam's income. On the contrary, in macroeconomics, we deal with aggregates, for example, national income of the country. Moving ahead, microeconomics, it is the study of how different economic entities, individuals, household, businesses, and industries make their economic decisions. Here you are able to see that we are talking of individual units, individual households, businesses, or industries. Microeconomics critically deals with the rationality of consumers making their best utilization of scarce resources for meeting their unlimited wants to derive maximum satisfaction and economic welfare. So in microeconomics, we are dealing with individuals, and it deals with the rationality, which means the right thinking, the right approach of consumers for making best use of available resources within the limited resources to derive maximum satisfaction and economic welfare of the individuals. That is the objective of microeconomics. Moving ahead, when we talk about macroeconomics, it is the branch of economics that studies the behavior of overall economy, which means addition of all the individuals here. It works with aggregates, as we have already discussed, such as total investment, total production, total employment, price level, national income, inflation, rate of economic growth, gross domestic product, that is termed as GDP, government policies, physical as well as monetary policies. Therefore, aggregates of microeconomics is macroeconomics. So in microeconomics, we were dealing with individual units. Here, we are dealing with the aggregates as a whole, which includes total investment, total production, total employment, price level, national income, inflation, rate of economic growth, GDP, government policies, etc. Moving ahead, now we'll be trying to understand the difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics. The first difference, the concept of microeconomics, the focus on economic behavior of individual units such as person, household, or firm is in the microeconomics. On the other hand, the focus is on aggregate, as we have already discussed, or total, such as national income, total consumption, and saving, as we have already discussed. In the microeconomics, the focus is on individual units. On the other hand, in the macroeconomics, the focus is on total aggregate. The next point, the main objective of microeconomics is to analyze problems and policies related to optimum or fuller utilization of resources. So the objective of microeconomics is fuller or optimum utilization of resources. On the other hand, the objective of macroeconomics is to study the problems and policies related to full employment of the resources and growth of it, which means the objective of microeconomics was optimum or fuller utilization of resources, and the objective of macroeconomics is full employment of the resources and growth of the available resources. Moving to the third point, the scope of microeconomics, it covers the scope of consumers, equilibrium, factor economics and welfare economics. On the other hand, the scope of macroeconomics, it covers the scope of equilibrium level of national income and employment trade cycle. So we are able to understand the difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics on the basis of concept or meaning. Then I discussed the objective of microeconomics. The objective of microeconomics was fuller or optimum utilization of resources. The objective of macroeconomics was related to full employment of the resources and the growth of the resources. And the scope was in microeconomics consumer equilibrium, factor economics and welfare economics. On the other hand, the scope of macroeconomics was equilibrium level of national income and employment trade cycle. Moving ahead to the most important theme of our content, which is managerial economics, the concept and definition of managerial economics. Business economics comprises of two words, business and economics. Business means continuation of economic activity. This is important. In business, it should be an economic activity with the object of earning profit. In business, it should be an economic activity with the objective of earning profit, whereas economics, as we have discussed, deals with theories, principles, concepts that is universally acceptable. The theories of economics are universally acceptable. So, business is an economic activity with the objective of earning profit. On the other hand, economics is theories, principles which are universally acceptable. So, business economics is the recent branch or the latest branch of economics which makes practical application of the theories of economics in real world of business. Which means in business economics, we try to apply the practical aspects of the theories which we have learned in economics. That is uncertain and unpredictable, which means in the real business world, the scenario is totally unpredictable. So according to the scenario, we try to analyze the scenario and implement the economic principles so that the firm or the industry may grow in a positive way. Business economics acts as a bridge between theories of economics and its practical application for decision making in business world. This is very important, that business economics acts as a bridge or a tool between the theories we have learned of economics till date and the practical application of the theories, so that a good decision making can be done, a rational decision making can be done, which can be beneficial for the firm or business world. The other name of business economics is managerial economics. So business economics is also termed as sometimes managerial economics. Managerial economics is the application of rational analysis to solve real life business challenges and problems such as demand, cost, production, marketing, future planning, etc. for smooth flow of business, which means in managerial economics, we try to do rational analysis to solve the challenges or problems of the real life problems for the business entities, problems such as related to demand, cost, production, future planning, etc. The main objective or motive of managerial economics is to solve practical issues, real life issues that may arise in management of business, and helps the manager to take logical or rational decisions, as we have already discussed. This branch of knowledge is also known as theory of firm, economics of enterprise, etc. So to summarize, we can say that managerial economics is such a subject in which the principles of economics is applied, the practical application of that is done in a rational way for decision making, so that the firm or the enterprise may grow in a positive way by solving its problem. Moving ahead, the definitions of managerial economics. In the words of Spencer and Sigelman, managerial economics is the integration of economic theory with business practice for the purpose of facilitating decision making. Now, this is very important. Most important thing in managerial economics is decision making and forward planning, which means planning for the future by the management or the people who are involved in the management. So, in words of Spencer, it is integration or combination of economic theories, application of economic theories in real world, so that it can be helpful in decision making and forward planning for the enterprise or management. In the next definition, in words of Malcolm McNair and Richard S. Merriam, managerial economics consists of use of economic models of thoughts to analyze business situations, which means the managerial economics is a concept of economics which focuses on analyzing of business situations. And moving to the third definition, in the words of Bates and Parkinson, managerial economics is a study of the behavior of firm in theory as well as in practice, which means here the study of firm in theoretical aspect is also done, as well as in practical aspect is also done. The next is, as per Edwin Mansfield, managerial economics is concerned with application of economic concepts and economic analysis to the problems of formulating rational managerial decisions. To summarize, we can say that in all these definitions, the basic motto was to apply the theories of economics in the real world with rational thinking, so that a good rational decisions can be taken which can be beneficial for the enterprise or the business. In short, we can summarize it as managerial economics primarily involves application of economic principles, as we are repeating again and again, methods and analytical tools to the decision making process. This is the most important aspect of managerial economics, that the basic objective is to take good or rational decision for the firm within a business or firm. It seamlessly integrates economic theories with the operational or the ground application of it of firms or organization. Now, we will be talking about the characteristics of managerial economics. The study of managerial economics focuses on the investigation of identifying the best answers to business and corporate decision making, issues such as meeting product demand, figuring out manufacturing cost, setting prices, profit planning, etc. So, here we try to do investigation about the problems related to the firm, and based on the investigation we make good decisions which can be beneficial for the firm. For like example, figuring out manufacturing cost, setting prices, profit planning, etc. The important thing is that it is microeconomic in nature. The second point, the managerial economics is pragmatic in nature, which means it is based on real experiences or cases which can be implemented on the ground reality. So, first point was microeconomics in nature. The second is it is pragmatic in nature. The third point, microeconomics is the practical application of economic ideas, as we have already discussed, theories and principles to managerial economics. So, we can say the managerial economics is more a kind of applied economics. The fourth point, the managerial economics is a normative science, as it provides solution to the problem. Not only it discusses the problem, but it also provides the solution to the existing problem. So, in this slide we have discussed 4 points. The first was it is microeconomic in nature, second it is pragmatic in nature, third it is applied economics, and fourth it is normative science. Moving ahead, the managerial economics primarily deals with the making of value judgments. This is very important, centered around what should be done, means what should be the right theme or what should exactly be done in the firm or the respective organization. It evaluates every decision being made by a firm by considering its positive as well as negative effects, which means the value judgments are considered here and the impact study of every decision is done, whether the impact will be positive or negative on the firm. It implies that the firm will only make choices that benefits it rather than the negative sides, and will avoid those that could work against it, which means the final decision will be those decisions which will be working for the benefit of the firm rather than those decisions which can work on the negative side. The next point, the basic economic concepts and principles form the foundation of managerial economics, which means whatever economic concepts we have discussed in the subject of economics are the foundation or the pillar stones of managerial economics. Next point, managerial economics is both a science as well as an art, which we will be discussing in the upcoming lectures. It covers the features of both science as well as art. Next point, the study of managerial economics is more prescriptive in nature rather than descriptive, which means it focuses on the prescription form rather than only describing the problem. It offers recommendations or solutions, what to do and what not to do for fixing different business issues and challenges. So this is a very important point, that it is prescriptive, as the doctors provide prescription. The same is the case here. The managerial economics tries to provide prescription rather than only describing the issue or the challenges. The next point is that the study of managerial economics is interdisciplinary in nature. This interdisciplinary has been adopted in the NEP 2020 also. It incorporates ideas from several disciplines such as behavioral science, mathematics, statistics, economics, management, etc., which means the subject of managerial economics is interdisciplinary in nature. It incorporates ideas or thoughts from several disciplines of subjects such as mathematics, statistics, economics, management, etc. So in this slide, we have tried to understood that managerial economics takes value judgments, which is good for the firm. It is more focused on economic concepts and principles. It is both science as well as an art. It is prescriptive in nature, and it adopts the features of interdisciplinary subjects or field. Now, as I have already told you that managerial economics focuses on trying to find solution for the problems existing for the firm by taking rational decision. So that has been shown in this figure. As you are able to see in the figures, the solution to business problem. If any enterprise has to handle the decision problem or to handle the problems, how it will be handling it. This concept has initiated from the traditional economics, as we have discussed. We follow the principles and practices of traditional economics, the basic economics, and then we shift to the managerial economics, in which we implement the principles, the theories of traditional economics, and based on that, the decision science works. Now, the managerial economics acts as a tool for providing optimum solutions to problems of business or the challenges for the businesses. So, managerial economics makes a genuine attempt to help its management, its stakeholders to take such a decision which can be beneficial for the business, and the challenges or the problems of the business can be solved. So that's all in this first slide. In this first lecture, we tried to cover all these five aspects. I introduced you to economics. I introduced you to Indian perspective of economics. I discussed with you microeconomics and macroeconomics, the concept and definition of managerial economics, and finally I discussed with you the characteristics of managerial economics. I provide you an introduction of economics, that it deals with the fuller utilization of resources or the use of resources which are scarce in nature, so that maximum satisfaction can be gained from it. And I also told you that in economic subject there is important contribution from Indian people, Indian economists In economics, we discuss or analyze how products and services are produced, distributed, or consumed. I discussed with you the definition of Marshall and Robbins. Then I showed you how economics has developed as a subject. I discussed with you the different school of thoughts based on welfare, in which Marshall and Pigou have contributed, based on scarcity, where Robbins has contributed. And then I discussed with you the wealth one, in which Adam Smith and J.B. Say and J.S. Mill have contributed. And finally, I discussed with you the growth-centered, where Samuelson and Henry Smith have contributed. But they have not come to a consensus that this is the final definition of economics. This is a kind of debate between the intellects. Then I talked with you the Indian perspective of economics, where the focus is not only on earning profit, but with earning profit with ethics and values, which is also termed as Shubh Labh. You need to earn profit, but with ethical values. So I discussed with you that Indian economics focuses on holistic development of the society and inclusive growth. Then I discussed with you the difference between micro and macroeconomics. Microeconomics deals with individual units. On the other hand, the macroeconomics deals with aggregates as a whole. I discussed the meaning of it with you in this. Then I discussed the difference between micro and macroeconomics on the basis of concept, objective, and scope. Then I moved to definition of managerial economics. What is the use of it? What is the meaning of it? And in this we have discussed that the objective of managerial economics is to take rational or good decision for the enterprise, so that the enterprise can work, can contribute in a positive way. Then I discussed the definition with you. The most important aspect of managerial economics is regarding the decision making process. Then I discussed the characteristics with you. That is, it is microeconomic in nature, it is pragmatic in nature, which means it is based on real experiences. It is applied economics, which means the concept of economics are applied here. It is normative science, which means it provides solutions to the problem existing. It focuses on value judgments, good judgments. The basic concepts and principles are adopted from economics. It is both science as well as an art. It is prescriptive in nature. It is interdisciplinary. And then finally, I try to show you a figure how the managerial decisions are being taken in any organization. The best or optimal decisions are being taken so that the organization can move in a positive way. So thank you, learners, for patiently listening to this lecture. I hope this course of managerial economics will be of great use for you, and you will be able to implement these concepts in your organization and help the organization as well as for the academicians. This is going to be a great tool. So in the upcoming lectures, we will be discussing different aspects of managerial economics. Thank you and hope to see you in the upcoming lecture.